Welcome back to the Four Podmen, the wrestling podcast we bring you each and every week on the Dynamo Podcast Network. Head over to YouTube, smash that subscribe and bell notification button. Joining me today, friend of the show, Barry Farrell, long-term friend. We said we'd continue our series, actually, of these look-backs at iconic matches that shaped wrestling history and the landscape of the business. So we asked Barry to pick a match, so I'll introduce Barry. Barry, how are you doing, my man?
How's it going? I'm all good.
Good to
How
have
are
you
you?
on. Yeah, not a bother.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell our viewers what match you picked?
Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, Hell in a Cell at In Your House, Bad Blood, 1996.
Great match choice. Super match choice, I have to say.
Yeah.
Tell us about the background to this and how you decided on this one.
Well, I was trying to consider between Undertaker Shawn at 25, but everybody talks about that match, and we all know how great that match was. And the other option was Undertaker versus Mankind at SummerSlam 96 in the Boiler Room Brawl. So I enjoyed that match myself.
Yeah.
But I was like, nah, I love this match too much that I can't pass it, because it was my favorite match for so long until that WrestleMania 25 match.
Until that video cassette ran out.
Yeah. So I the backstory to the match for me anyway was as I was telling you before, my brother Joey, big Shawn Michaels fan, big Undertaker fan. So when Shawn screwed Undertaker over at SummerSlam by hitting him in the head with the chair, I was like, oh, he's gonna die now. So so I was rubbing it in Joey's face. But then they had the match at Ground Zero, and there was no winner of that match. And then they led to this match, and I absolutely love this match. It's like the perfect big man, little man kind of thing. Even though Shawn's not that small, but compared to Undertaker, it's like a foot in the difference.
Yeah, it's always been that David and Goliath, really, with these two, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's
agility versus all power, so.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We're going to get into the match now with the viewers and stuff like that, and let them. We'll give them our thoughts as the match progresses and stuff like that, and our thinking on it. Yeah. Right. So let's get into it. Let's press play.
Cool.
So here we go. So we've Undertaker here on the steps now, about to bring the lights up again, which is, his iconic thing, really, isn't it? From darkness into light, really.
Yeah. Lights on. Action.
Yeah. Shawn was real dickish at this time, wasn't he?
I know.
He was really
I'm so scared.
Yeah. Even when you see his entrance with China and Rude and Triple H, like, it's real kind of it's overworked and over put on, isn't it? Like they still weren't as polished, if you like.
Yeah. So like there's a whole thing where I walking out and he's all cocky with his European Championship that he never defended. And he's walking out to the ring all like, oh yeah, I'm gonna kick his ass.
Yeah. They're going crazy here now at the moment. The door's being locked. Triple H is swinging out of the cage.
And Shawn's trying to get out.
Yeah.
And Undertaker's just taking his time.
Yeah.
He's gonna get him eventually. So.
Yeah. It was iconic for the fans as well, seeing this being lowered down, wasn't it? Like, it was pretty cool.
I mean, and this is the first. Well, I know it's a long time ago. There was a cage with a roof. And this was the first one for such a long time with a roof on top, and like there was the usual thing: someone would be under the ring, or someone would climb over the top. That wasn't a possibility. Later on, we find out what happened, but we'll get to that then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, kick to the face.
There we go. Big boot to the face. Signature stuff. Shawn
overselling everything.
Only Shawn could do. Yeah, yeah. This is Hulk Hogan Part 2, really, from that SummerSlam, isn't it? Really, when you think
Yeah.
about it.
Well, I hope that he wasn't like overselling like as a joke kind of thing with this situation. Oh, boom.
Yeah.
Big oversell.
Head to the turnbuckle, and he takes off like the hurricane.
The hurricane coming through.
Taker looks weird as well, doesn't he? With the greased fringe down across one eye type of thing, doesn't he?
Yeah. It's such an unusual pairing, you know, because it's Shawn's like party boy kind of character, you know,
Yeah.
especially again. And Undertaker's so demonic and all, you know, and you wouldn't imagine it would work. But
yeah,
both of them are so brilliant in the ring.
Yeah.
What they do, that it works. And I mean, honestly, Shawn can have a good match with anybody. And when he has when he's in there with somebody that can actually do stuff,
Yeah.
it makes it better, you know.
It's weird with Shawn when you think about it, isn't it? I mean, Shawn just has kind of amazing chemistry nearly with everyone.
Yeah.
He's such a good performer. Like he can get in there with a guy like Undertaker. He can get in with Brett. You know, he can get in with Hogan. He can get in with anyone and just create that kind of magic. He's that type of performer, you know.
And if you go back and you see him fighting, you know, the Barbarian and people like that years ago, he fights people like Undertaker and Stone Cold and all that here. And then many years later, he's fighting John Cena and Randy Orton, and you know, so he'll have anybody. And just like Undertaker, the same thing. You know, he fought everybody and anybody that was around. And God help him, he had to fight, like I said earlier, John Gonzalez and Big Khali and
just taking top rope.
Dreadful. Yeah, old school.
Shawn's selling is just ridiculous, isn't it? Like, it's just.
I'll take an old school and I'll take a bounce bump, not just a regular bump. No.
I love that with Taker when he goes for the pretend punch and he hits you with the headbutt.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
And this pay-per-view was a very unusual one as well, because obviously we had the whole thing with the unfortunate situation with Brian Pillman that night. But I mean, it was really, there was nothing else to speak about on this pay-per-view except for this match.
Well, all roads led to this, really, didn't they? I mean, this is the match that they were waiting for with the build-up and everything else. So, exactly. I mean, it wasn't dissimilar to when I was at 25.
Oh, did you see that? John's foot hit the roof of the cell when he got the back body drop there.
Yeah, just clipped it.
Big clothesline. No. Yeah. I mean, he takes a bump off each punch, not just like the big one or something.
Yeah. Taker's punches are so snug, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's just sent Shawn to the outside there now off the cage. It's amazing when you look at the cage there and the way it's set up. I have to say as well, I love that in your house logo. I just think it's cool.
Oh no, yeah.
But
I'm glad NXT have brought it back.
When you see the work that they do here now outside the ring, using the cage and stuff like that, they've very little room to work with. Like, it's tight. Like,
I know the cameraman getting right in there, you know, and we'll see that come into play later again as well. But I mean, like, yeah, you're right. They nowadays they'd have a outside the cage and just kind of right up against it.
This is the bit I love as well, where they break out the screens into the double features. Real old school TV programming. There. Really cool.
Very old.
So you get the action replay and you get what's currently going on in the ring.
Exactly. Get into the cage and close on. I wonder are we going to get the pillar to post thing that they seem to do, you know?
Yeah. It's amazing through the match as well, the way Taker's hair dries out and goes from black to orange, isn't it?
yeah, I know. At one point, no, you can go underneath the ring and get another bottle of water. And,
Stop using that cheap gel.
yeah, me and my brother, like I said earlier, we had this on video. We watched it until that video stopped working.
Yeah. What you thinking on Taker's ring gear in this one?
Well, I don't know. It was unusual. I mean, it was what he had, what you basically had to work with at the time. But like, I mean, it's just basically a short, with just some buckles on it.
Yeah.
It was unusual.
Shawn catching the top of the cage there. Now he's pulverizing the head off Taker.
Yeah. And now
Taker
power bomb into it. He just let him go, and he just fell down.
People wonder why Shawn ended up with a bad back.
Yeah. I mean, the next match that they had against each other, that was the back injury that ended it all for Shawn for a long time. With the casket match at the Rumble.
Yeah.
Oh, and this is obviously a lead in from the Bret Hart Undertaker match with Shawn as special guest referee at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love that match as well. I only watched that recently enough because I'm going through my SummerSlam phase because it's SummerSlam season, you know.
Yeah, the build up again. Yeah, camera work on those body shots was awesome, wasn't
it? Yeah.
Into the post and into the cage, and back into the post and back into the cage.
Back into the cage. And I'm dead.
Shawn always had a gnarly way of taking the piss out of the business, didn't he? Within his own sphere, like.
And he'd do stuff like that as well. He'd kick the cameraman over, or he'd
trip him.
I mean, if you watch back even to the Iron Man match at WrestleMania, they do a thing outside where the two of them kind of jump off the ring apron or something, and he bumps into the cameraman. And he's all like, "Hell out of here," or something. He's getting aggressive with the cameraman. Yeah. I mean, even you go back a couple of things. He do things like that all the time, but then again, they get in the way. So.
Yeah. It wasn't even that. I think he wanted to bring a kind of a realness to it, didn't he?
Yeah.
So it was good. It was good to say that, like, it was like nearly if you hit the cameraman or you knock the cameraman down, you were nearly legitimizing the impact of the moves.
Yeah.
Taker with a big elbow right across the face. Shawn after smashing his chest into the steps.
And now he's getting choked with his foot.
Yeah. Big boot right into the neck now. I love that earlier as well. Like, Taker's giving him nothing. He tried to launch Shawn into the cage. Shawn shoves him into the cage. He bounces off the cage and just clotheslines the head off.
Just takes him out. Here we go. Shawn's taking over.
Yeah.
Shawn's moment. Take over for quite some time as well. I mean, it was all Undertaker at one point.
Yeah. He gave him nothing for that first, say, 5-10 minutes or whatever it was in the match. Shawn got very little in.
Now it's got to be all done.
Yeah. God, I missed that I missed that WWF logo as well. God.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have that on my woolly hat.
Yeah.
For a wash at the minute, but
that's right. Same color as well. The yellow with the blue. Yeah.
Very
cool. Shawn after getting choked on the top rope there, massive spring back.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nearly ended up the far side of the ring. God, he was the king of overselling, wasn't he?
He really was. It was either competition between him and The Rock for that Stone Cold Stunner that he was.
Yeah.
Like
See that crossbody through the ropes there now against the cage.
yeah,
And you can see you could see how he had to pace it because there's no room really between the cage and the thing. Here we have Shawn now.
He has to allow for his body to come out and for Undertaker's long body to fall down without anybody getting injured.
Yeah. The use of the cage is real good as well. Like they're really using it as, it's a big part of the match. Whereas, some of these cage matches, sometimes you just get a normal wrestling match in the ring. The cage is rarely used. It's just there as a gimmick.
Yeah, and I mean, up until that point, we had the old blue cage most of the time as well.
Yeah.
So you get hit into that, and like you're gonna know about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Get our double feature back there again now, split screen. Shawn with the steps up now, so he's pulverizing Taker now with the steps.
The 300-pound steps, right?
That Shawn is just casually lifting over his head and pounding Taker with the strength of Shawn Michaels.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
300 pounds. Always drove me crazy whenever they see that show.
Well, it's the fact that you lift it up and then it's hollow. Yeah. Maybe if they had to put a board across it or something like that, you could probably sell it more. But the fact that it's just hollow plate,
Oh God, the cameraman is way too close.
Yeah.
And because of that, they're not able to execute the move as well as they should. Get that cameraman out of there, people.
Pile driver on the steps.
There we go again. Shawn knocking the cameraman over.
Yeah. He beats the crap out of him now in a minute, doesn't he? Lays the boots into him and everything.
Yeah.
He is way too close, in fairness. Like you can barely see it. Like we just had like 40 seconds of Shawn's butt.
I'm sure some people like that, but
hey, each to their own.
Yeah. I mean, he was on the step watching them fight. That was crazy. That was way too close. Oh, cameraman just lost his feet there for a second.
Yeah.
And Undertaker's already up. I mean, I think that'd be the point where Vince would be saying, you don't know what to be doing when you're fighting Undertaker, because you have either try and attack him all the time and you're gonna get beaten. You try and leave him or walk away from him and he's coming after you.
Yeah. Vince must have been on a real ticket sales buzz for this one, because that cage is so tight to the ring. There's literally, like, Shawn's even trying to do stuff there and he has to kind of telegraph it because there is absolutely no room.
No room.
Well, boys, back in the ring here again now. Shawn with a series.
Oh, what's going in for? Cage? Chair?
Yes.
Oh, Shawn gets a horrendous chair shot later on in this match.
They both took a number of horrendous chair shots. Taker took a couple to the head as well that are scary enough when you look at them even now. Like,
we got to go to the back now.
Yeah, the one on the back is just a reminder that the chair is in the ring. Normally followed by a head one.
Yeah, especially then.
Yeah.
We'll see any of that now. Yeah, you get it in the stomach or you get it in the back. That's all you get now.
Yeah.
Remember during Undertaker's biker days when he went bad and he was fighting the Hardy Boys, and he would wrap the tray around their necks and like run them into the steel post. Those were the days. when you're allowed to do stuff like that.
He's after he launched the chair away there, thinking. I think he didn't realize he was still in a cage.
Yeah, trying to kill the fans.
Taker kicks out on 2. Shawn in disbelief, looking at Hebner.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Just like, what? And he's still fighting back.
Yeah. Shawn selling the punches, good lord.
And a run and kick in the gut. I mean, that's not a weird thing to do.
Yeah. Now the old skill tie up in the ropes.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, this would be where he hits that cameraman now, I think. Soon enough. I don't know whether it was the same cameraman that was in the way earlier, but
he looked like he had an axe to grind on one of them anyway.
yeah, exactly. And back body drop over the top.
Taker with the big boot.
Over you go.
Cameraman is destroyed. I love those old WWF boiler suits as well that they wore.
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
so cool, weren't they? Shawn gonna beat the piss out.
Yeah, ever loving it, shit.
He's kicking the crap out. Shawn's affection with cameramen. He won't leave the cameraman alone. He's beating the crap out.
And he comes in and hits Undertaker and goes back to beat the cameraman again.
Yeah, give him another few. Why not? Get out there, Taker. Where's this cameraman? Hang on.
Cameraman's going to get a pile driver or something. And he gets thrown on the chair. Oh. And he gets Sergeant Slaughter to take the cameraman out so we can get out of the cage.
Cameraman selling like a champ.
Yeah. And John going to execute as much moves as he possibly can so he can get this match over with.
Here's the guy, the ring guy now. We need to get him out of here. He's dead.
If we don't get him out of here soon, John will kill him.
Yeah.
I'll go into his big move set.
Yeah. I wonder, is that leap up? I've often wondered about that leap up. That has to be not very good for your back either.
No, I don't think so.
With the motion and the bending that you're putting on and stuff like that, and the stress you'd be putting on your lower back. I often wondered, was that a problem? There's Sarge.
Yeah, especially later on when he would have been recovering from his back injury. Sarge coming out, unlocking the cage. Get that cameraman out of there.
Shawn's big elbow.
Tuning up the band. And the cameraman's getting taken out. Officially taken out. I mean, not like with Shawn.
Well, Shawn must have been about a size 4, was he? Looking at Shawn's boots. His boots are tiny.
Something like that. And he sits up after the sweet chin music. Yeah. Unbelievable.
And he just sits back up.
Yeah. The adrenaline is taking over. He just wants to kill him at this point.
Old man outside the cage. Cameraman's just gone in his ear again. Sarge is after going over him. Shawn with a double foot into the cage. Gets caught. Gonna get launched into the cage here now. This
busted open.
This is where we get our color, if you like.
You can actually see Inside no, but you could see him
Yeah.
like
And Taker with the punches to the forehead, making sure it just looks a proper bloody mess.
yeah, get some blood on the old knuckles and
Yeah.
into the cage. I remember that shot for years. It was in the beginning for Raw for a few years anyway.
Yeah.
That launch into the cage.
Yeah.
Good time. John's gonna act like he's dead now for a few minutes.
Absolutely. Probably feels like it.
Oh, kicking the groin. Oh,
low blow.
low blow. Not the usual wrestling blow, low blow where it's like
back out into the double feature again, the launch into the cage. I love the way they do those old school replays.
And the noise they used to make when they would make the double feature.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Shawn climbing up the cage now, Taker hanging on.
For a shot of
stomp
up
to the
on
head.
top of the cage. But first shot wouldn't be the last time that we'll be on top of the cage.
No. That mustn't have been too easy for Taker either, climbing up that mesh, because he's quite big feet compared to Shawn.
Yeah.
It made it look pretty easy.
As he was saying on Austin's podcast, Austin's show, I should say, that they didn't make the big hole for your feet.
Yeah.
Because in the cells now, there's big giant holes they can climb
where your
up
feet can go. Yeah, it's not like cut in ladder.
Yeah.
Rake and Shawn.
I remember that the cameraman. There's a bit of blood after dropping onto the cameraman.
That's right. Yeah.
Shout out, "Oh crap!" Or something.
Yeah. Raking Shawn's head across the mesh.
Give him a big gorilla press there.
All the same, when you're up there, it must be frightening.
Oh, terrifying! I'd say. The people look like ants down below. Down the side, stomp the fingers. They must have done something here, by the way, when they opened the cage door, because that cage door was pretty stuck to the cage.
Yeah.
But here in a little while, it is not that stuck to the cage anymore.
No. Out of sight, out of mind, eh?
Exactly, yeah. Little sneaky things that they can do.
Shawn off the cage through the table. Through the commentator's desk.
First one of those kind of bumps we'll have.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that is a bloody mess Shawn's in. There's a few really bad ones of those. Yeah. He's not quite on the Eddie Guerrero Judgment Day. That was done.
Yeah.
Oh, when Vince fought Undertaker at Survivor Series, remember that? And he was pouring blood out of him. It was horrible. Did he hit? I don't know.
Flung over onto the next desk.
There's Tito Santana over there.
Arriba.
I
suppose the fear on this is that, like, you could easily get slammed or thrown into a monitor, which would be really sore in terms of a bump on your back and stuff like that, And again, even looking at the commentator side there, there's absolutely no room at all.
Like when he falls off, him going through your table, your legs are right underneath there.
Yeah.
What if you had your legs all stretched out underneath? What are you gonna do then? You know?
Replays of the bump through the table off the side of the cage.
Double feature. You love the double feature.
Awesome.
His hair is soaked now with blood.
Yeah. Starting to look like old school Ric Flair nearly. Now they're being very careful in the way they close the cage door because they know it's barely hanging on. You see your man closing the cage door and he's real gentle with it.
He's like slotting it back on.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Oh, big club man.
I suppose at this point you're thinking Taker all the way, aren't you?
No, 100%. I mean, when we was coming into this match, I was like, this has to go on Undertaker. You know?
Yeah. Just the nature of the match.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big cage match. None of Triple H can't get involved, or, you know, China, something like that. But no. Big choke slam. Oh. Here we go. This awful chair shot to their face.
Yeah, the choke slam was weird as well because they'd no room to maneuver. You know what I mean? So they kind of had to just come off on it. So improvising all the time there, which is kind of cool.
I thought this match was longer than this. It's only about 25 minutes long. I thought it was like 45 minutes long or something.
Yeah. I suppose when you're taking the entrances and everything, if you take it in right from the start.
Yeah.
Because I think this is one of these moments where I think Shawn's entrance was longer than Taker's.
Oh. Yeah, probably was. Because he took a while to get Rick Rude out and Triple H and China. That chair shot. Not as bad as the Mr. Kennedy chair shot from
but nasty
many years later.
Lights go out.
Lights are out. Who's coming? Gotta be Kane. In my opinion, one of the better debuts in a match. Like, breaking into a match. This debut is brilliant.
Yeah, Kane's old school ring gear is awesome as well, isn't it? And that mask and all.
Yeah,
like, he really did look like a terrifying specimen if you think about it. Like, just rips the door off like it's nothing.
I always thought of it was like, you know, Jason Voorhees is coming out and trying to kill him.
Earl just got put through the cage nearly. Huge man, Kane, isn't he? Taker's no slouch, you know, but Kane's a monster.
Exactly. He's a monster, yeah. Pyro. Massive pyro.
Yeah.
Now, here in a moment when he picks him up, he can't seem to decide which side he's gonna plant him on.
Yeah.
For Shawn to be able to do the old crawl over and put the one arm over.
Yeah. He goes one way and he goes, oh no, that's the cameraman that was taken out. So he turns around and goes the other way to find the cameraman to get the shot. Kane was terrifying back then, wasn't he?
He really was.
It's bad when you look back through the history of these matches and you think then he ended up in that kind of hell no stuff with Daniel Bryan and all. What about Barra with the brown hair or the blondie brown hair is kind of weird as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do
you remember around that? No, it was next year when Taker burst into Bob Bear's house and beats him up in his own house. He's sitting on his couch and he's.
I always think Barra with the black hair though was like, you know, it always fitted it more.
The way
like,
he should look, yeah.
Yeah, the black hair and the whited out skin and stuff like that. Like so.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked like proper like evil.
And here we are.
Earl Hebner with the slowest 3 count in the history of 3 counts.
1.
Yeah. It was like as if he was expecting Taker to kick out, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Come on, I'm giving you
pretty much.
every opportunity here. Come on. Here we go.
I mean, they have to be proud of this match. This was a great match.
Yeah.
I know Undertaker looked back on this match very, very fondly. I'm sure Shawn did too.
Yeah.
Shawn actually looked wrecked, like he's, oh, please just bring me home.
I'm sure he was. I'm sure his head is still spinning from that chair shot.
Yeah. Loss of blood, chair shot, fell off the cage.
Yeah. Triple H looking so young.
I know. And China, the way China look.
Yeah.
Where's Rick Rude gone? He's there with them. Oh, there he is.
Yeah. Hunter making sure they got the crotch chop on camera in case they missed the
Yeah.
first few.
They're
They're showing us the replay.
they were really antagonistic then, weren't they?
Yeah.
DX, like. Well, it's a good match. It's a great match.
Yeah. That's it. They're just showing replays here. They kind of attacking him. Taker still going around. Taker starting to get up now.
Just realizing, oh yeah, that was my brother.
I'm surprised some lad in the crowd didn't pick up the cage door and go home with it. Look, the cage door is just sitting there front row with the crowd.
Like, why don't I just take that home?
Absolutely. And there we have it. That's the match.
Yeah.
So
that was great.
Thoughts on it?
Well, I absolutely love that match.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
Does it stack up the same every time you watch it?
It feels a little different because, like I was saying earlier, I remember it being longer. I don't. Maybe my just memory is one thing, and then when I watch it, it's like, oh yeah, it's actually not that long, But I remember years ago I got a Hell in a Cell DVD, and that one was on. It was obviously the first one, so I was watching that one. I'm like, yeah, this is one of the longer ones. And then I get down to Triple H and Shawn Michaels at Bad Blood 2004, I think. And that's like nearly an hour long. It's Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Triple H has to have the longest match in the entire history of the Hell in a Cell.
I think somewhere around that 25 to 35 is the sweet spot, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anything after that, and it's just uncalled for violence in terms of the storytelling. In terms of the significance of the match, well, I mean, obviously the Hell in the Cell, obviously, as a structure.
Debut of Kane. The first ever Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
Absolute destruction that Shawn Michaels felt.
Yeah. Isn't it weird when you think about it? Like it's Undertaker, the debut of Kane, obviously, but the first Hell in a Cell, and yet Shawn wins.
I know.
Isn't it kind of weird? Like it's kind of like,
yeah.
I don't know. To me, it just feels weird when when it's the first one and it's so significant. Obviously, the Undertaker, when you think of the history and stuff like that. But yes, Shawn won the first one. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Undertaker's name is basically synonymous with the Hell in a Cell, and he lost more than he won.
Yeah, well, I suppose the importance of the match really is it laid the foundation for the whole Kane stuff.
Yes,
which was pretty cool, and obviously to see Kane's pyro on the ring post was kind of cool as well.
Exactly.
Like it was something very different,
and of course this was in my opinion in the beginning of the Attitude Era. I mean, after that match with Undertaker and Bret at SummerSlam, that kind of set things in motion because it started that feud with Shawn and Undertaker. Bret wins the belt, and then Shawn, because he wins that match, I have to believe, became number one contender. Then he fought Bret Hart to wrestle at Survivor Series. Good job. We all know about that.
Mm.
And then Vince McMahon became Mr. McMahon. And
Yeah. Yeah.
and all of that kind of stuff,
It's nice. It's nice when you look back into that history compared to now, where you see that they actually had like a 3 or a 4 or a 5 month program that builds into all these storylines unfolding.
Yeah.
Rather than, not so much nowadays. They're getting it a little bit better nowadays, but like the kind of haphazard booking where they throw stuff at the wall and after a month it's gone. Or if it doesn't fly with the fans, they go, abandon that, forget about it. Here, like you were saying, like you were laying the foundations for Undertaker and Kane. You were also building up Shawn, and as you said, we went on with, Undertaker and Bret and Shawn and Bret and stuff like that. So it laid all that foundation for that sort of run into the back end of the year, if you like, and stuff like that,
Exactly.
So it's stellar the way they used to do it that way. So their planning was always on point back then. And I mean, obviously had to be, because, our friends down in Atlanta were coming along and they were about to start kicking ass and stuff like that. And, so it had to be, yeah. But yeah, that was really good. I really enjoyed that now. I like going back over some of these old matches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
I'm looking at that old In Your House logo and
In Your House logo, the WWF one, and even to see the attire again and all the nostalgia of it and stuff like that. And then it's only as well as it's only when you look back at them as well, you see the overselling of Shawn and all that other stuff as well. Like you don't realize at the time, but then when you know what you know because of what happened with him and Hogan at SummerSlam, you go back and you look at some and you go, yeah, he did a stellar job on all these ones. It wasn't just Hogan,
He was selling big time a lot.
Absolute pleasure. Anyway, listen, there's no doubt we'll have you back on again for another match. There's no doubt about it. This to me this is only the beginning of a series of these, I'd imagine, involving a lot of Undertaker matches, no doubt. So
100%.
As always, this has been our look back at Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels Hell in a Cell in Your House Bad Blood with Barry Farrell. Absolute pleasure, my man. Head over to YouTube, Dynamo Podcast Network. We don't do audio versions of these shows because there's no point, really. It doesn't make any sense for the look backs when you think about it. But if you'd like to contact the show, leave your comments down below on YouTube. Let us know what you thought of the match. Barry's pick, obviously, as an Undertaker fan. If you want to contact the show, we're the 4 Podmen on Facebook, and you'll also get us on Twitter at @TPodmen. Let us know your thoughts on this. And we will chat to you again real soon. Cheers, Barry.
Cheers.